Hi, welcome in, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me here. Happy Monday to you. I hope you guys got off to a nice start to your week. I had a nice weekend. It's nice to have some good weather here. I am ready for spring to roll around. I don't mind winter, but dang, today was nice. Shorts and t-shirt weather. Had the windows rolled down in the car. Beautiful, beautiful day out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the nice weather over the weekend and today. All right, we got a bunch to dive into. Actually, not a bunch, but we got 3 or 4 things I want to dive into tonight with you guys. It's combine season, right? So combine's off and rolling. Sean Payton's out there in Indianapolis with his crew as everybody starts to gather to prepare for the combine. Now, the combine doesn't really get going in terms of the interesting stuff until Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is really when the players get out there on the field. But there's a lot to gather from the combine season, and this is really when teams start the off-season negotiations. It's technically illegal tampering, but there is a lot of tampering that goes on at the combine. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then Shedeur Sanders. Sheduer has chosen not to participate in any of the workouts out there in Indianapolis. Is that a knock on Shedeur? I'll tell you my opinion. There is some news with the Broncos. It's not good news. We had a coach arrested yesterday. Linebackers coach Michael Wilhoit was arrested, and I've got some details regarding that and some thoughts with it. And then there is some good news that's floating around as well. Pro Football Focus released their top 101 players in the NFL last season, and a handful of Denver Broncos made that list. So we'll dive into all of that. But before we get rolling, I do want to take a quick second here to thank my sponsors. My title sponsor is Safeway. I would not have Safeway on this podcast if it weren't for you guys who watch it. So please know that I'm grateful to you for being a part of Mount Polumbus Speaks. If you're not subscribed, hit that link in my bio on Twitter. Go on to over to YouTube and hit subscribe. I've been working with Safeway now for 6 or 7 years, both in a charity aspect and a business aspect, and I'm incredibly grateful to them for all the good work that they do in the community and for just the difference that they are in comparison to their competitors. They've got fresh foods and local flavors, cut their fruit fresh in store every single day, and they've got an incredible app that I use every single week to order my groceries. I save my order, and then I just add on 1 or 2 things every week. It literally takes me 3.5 minutes to order my groceries. Safeway takes care of the rest. I get to redeem points for discounts down the road. I save a boatload of money. They deliver it directly to my door, and they make it incredibly easy. So skip the delivery service apps and go directly to Safeway, because Safeway is a different kind of grocery store. Also want to take a second here to thank Ascend Barbershop. My man Alfred Castro over there has been my personal barber for about 8 years now. The only dude that cuts my hair and touches my beard. Every now and then I let Anthony, that's Anthony right there, work with me.
Believe it or not, we see all the shots from
fantastic. If I can't get in with Alfred for whatever reason, I go over there. Ascend Barbershop is a luxury experience here in Parker, so if you're in the Parker area, make sure you check them out. All right, let me open a window because I'm already hot. Okay, where do you want to dive in tonight? We got the Nuggets going on against the Pacers right now. Let me check in on that. Nuggets were in cruise control last I checked in on it, but Sean Payton is at the Combine right now, and every year Sean does a little bit of a unique deal with the local media members. Sean is a feisty dude when he gets at the podium, and oftentimes is at odds with the local reporters, but when he goes out to Indianapolis, he's got a tradition where he usually hosts every local media member for a dinner. This year, he made the decision that since the Nuggets are playing in Indianapolis, excuse me, since the Nuggets are playing the Pacers tonight, he invited at least one member from every media outlet into a box, and they're all out there watching the game. Sean was down on the court before the game, hobnobbing with my man Scott Hastings. Scott got a photo with him, and with Michael Malone. I didn't realize that Michael Malone and Sean Payton were such good friends, but boy, did they embrace each other, and clearly they've got a good relationship going on. I think it's kind of cool what Sean does. Some of the media members think that they're kind of being bribed by it, you know, like they're kind of being bought a little bit by a good experience with Sean for good press. But I think it's a nice little give back to the media members for putting up with him all year long, quite frankly. I really don't have a whole lot to say on that other than I thought it was interesting, and you guys might find that interesting as well. I'm sure if you've been watching the Nuggets games, you've heard Scott talking about it, but they're all at the game right now and enjoying themselves. The Combine season is upon us, and with the Broncos selecting later than they usually do, I mean, we're so accustomed to the Broncos selecting anywhere from 5 to 12 that it feels weird this year with the Broncos all the way down at 20. Who do you track, right? Well, I've given you my top 5 prospects. If you missed that video, go on over to my YouTube and you can see it. I've got game film and I break them all down. And the guys that I like Ashton Genty. I like Colston Loveland. I like Tyler Warren. I like Luther Burden. I like Emeka Egbuka. I'm going to give you 6 guys right now, and I like Malachi Starks out of Georgia. These guys are all players that I'm keeping a very close eye on, but they're players that won't necessarily get the same attention. And one guy here locally that is catching a lot of heat right now is Shedeur Sanders. And I find it just insane that people are actually still knocking top world-class athletes that are going to go in the top 5, top 6 for choosing not to work out at the Combine. Last year, of the top quarterbacks, there were 6 quarterbacks selected in the first round. The top 3 chose not to work out. They chose not to throw. I'm not sure if they participated in the on-field drills or not, meaning like the 40, the L drill, the broad jump, vertical, all those sorts of things. But Caleb Williams did not throw. Jaden Daniels did not throw. Drake May did not throw. And this year, Shedeur Sanders has made the choice that he's not going to participate in the Combine events. He'll take place in all the interviews and everything, but he's not going to throw, and it sounds like he's not going to participate in on-field workouts either. Now, here's my thought on that. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, this would have been a big deal that Shedeur Sanders is not throwing at the Combine. What, is this guy not have any competitive juices in his body? What's he afraid of? What's he trying to hide? All these sorts of things. But, I mean, give me a break, man. The day is come and gone. And I don't know if Cam Ward is going to throw at the Combine or not. He hasn't made a decision, or at least he hasn't announced a decision on if he's going to throw at the Combine. But Shedeur Sanders is guaranteed to be the second quarterback off the board. He will not go any later than the second quarterback off the board. Now, you could make the argument that, especially if Cam Ward does not throw, maybe Shedeur should have thrown simply if he had the desire to be the number 1 QB selected, but maybe he likes the fit better to be the second QB off the board anyways. I don't know. But at the very least, he will be the second quarterback selected. I'd be shocked if he goes any lower than number 6 to the Raiders. And quite frankly, I think Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders will both probably go within the top 5, despite what a lot of mock drafts are telling you right now. Shedeur has nothing to gain. Absolutely nothing to gain. And quite frankly, it's not even that unfamiliar. He'd be thrown to a lot of familiar faces. He's got LeJonte Wester out there. He's got Travis Hunter out there. Travis Hunter is going to participate both as a defensive back and a wide receiver, which shows you just how badly Travis Hunter wants to be the first overall pick. Because most mock drafts right now, they've got Travis selected as the number 2 player off the board going to the Cleveland Browns. They've got Abdul Carter going number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. And Travis clearly wants to go number 1 because much like Shedeur Sanders, for the most part, he can only go down. I mean, God forbid he had a crazy 40 time or something. But if Travis Hunter were to go out there and run a 4.28 40 or something, well, he might just go from number 2 to number 1, and that might make him a whole lot of money. So I think it's cool that Travis Hunter is out there. But my point for Shedeur is he's got 3 familiar wide receivers out there to throw to. It's not an overly intimidating environment. And I know people will make the case of what's he afraid of. He's not afraid of anything. Shedeur Sanders has got over 50 starts. He's got over 1,800 passes thrown in his career. I saw that from my man Brian Howell on Twitter. That's a whole lot of game film. That's a lot of game film to speaking on his resume right now. And if QB coaches, head coaches, GMs have got any questions about Shedeur Sanders, turn on the film. And you're going to see a dude that is going to answer a lot of questions. Shedeur is not the most athletic dude in the world, I know. And for whatever reason, people are knocking Shedeur Sanders' arm strength right now. And I'm like, I know he threw a lot of bubble screens. I know he threw a lot of balls behind the line of scrimmage, and maybe that's why they're knocking it. But did they watch the rest of the game? Because he would easily throw 6 to 7 passes 30, 40, 50 yards every freaking game. I mean, it was dink, 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 dunk, dink, 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 dunk over the top, taking big throws down the middle. I don't think there's a lot for Shedeur to gain at the combine, and if he were to have a bad outing, he would only lose. But here's what I know about Shedeur from the East-West Shrine game that he went to. Every team that interviewed him said he absolutely knocked it out of the park on the whiteboard. They put him up on the board. They get to know your football IQ. They'll ask you to drop a play. They'll teach you a play. Then an hour later, they'll ask you to go back to install that same play. They'll ask you to draw up blitzes, ask your adjustments, what's your hot read, what's the offensive line doing. And Sheduer Sanders' football IQ has knocked it out of the park. Now, I do think that Shedeur will have to answer some questions, and I think that they're fair. I think they're reasonable. What's it going to be like to play without Daddy? You know, I'm sure there's going to be teams that are going to ask him questions along those lines. I'm not saying that it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal, but he has put out a few rap songs, and just like a lot of guys have, including Anthony Richardson right before he came out. But I guarantee you there's going to be teams out there that are going to ask him, what's your priority? Are you a football player or are you a rapper? Are you going to be a brand like your dad? And I'm sure if Shedeur was being really honest about that, he'd probably say, yeah, I am going to be a brand. And my brand, it starts and it ends with what I do on the football field. But I'm going to be bigger than just a football player. And that might rub a few GMs the wrong way. So I'm not telling you it's all going to be peaches and roses for Shedeur Sanders. But I know when they put him on the whiteboard, they're going to be blown away by his football IQ. Okay. I want to pull up a list here. Pro Football Focus put out their top 101 players. And I actually have not dove into this yet. Let me get to a different screen here. So I'm going to try to pull up my desktop for you guys. Okay. I actually have not been through this list, so I'm going to do it with you in real time. This is the top 101 players put out by Pro Football Focus, and I was told that there are 4 Denver Broncos on this list. So let's go through this thing, and let's see where our guys land. All right, I'm just going to kind of fastly scroll until we – wow, Trent Williams is only number 98? That seems awfully low for Trent Williams. Sauce Gardner's 99. Again, seems pretty damn low for Sauce Gardner. How low will we go to get our first Denver Bronco? Jalen Hurts at 91. Charles Cross, he's a pretty good player out there in Seattle. I think that's about right for him, 89. Here we go. 85, before I get to Garrett Bowles, I guess we got a tie. No, 86, I'm sorry. At 86, Aiden Hutchinson. That's simply got to be because he got injured. I mean, there's no way that Aiden Hutchinson should be that low on this list. But at number 85, we got tackle Garrett Bowles of the Denver Broncos. They say Bowles has been the model of consistency across the NFL off his NFL tenure, to which he parlayed another great year in 2024 into a 4-year, $82 million extension in December. The veteran tackle continues to elevate his game as a pass blocker, having generated an 88.8 grade this season, 4th highest at the position, while surrendering the 6th lowest pressure rate at 3.1%. I'm glad Garrett Bowles is getting some recognition here, because despite the early struggles in Garrett Bowles' career, there's a reason why the Denver Broncos just invested in him again. He has been rock solid. Just ran into Garrett the other day. He's a great dude. He loves Denver. He didn't want to go anywhere else. This is the only place that he wanted to be, and I'm glad the Broncos were able to reward him. You know, you could probably make a case for at least a couple. I don't know who the 4 Broncos are on this list. I'm sure Quinn Miners is going to be on this list. I'm sure Patrick Surtain is going to be on this list. I guess I'm not sure who the other – probably Zach Allen would be my guess. All guys that are worthy of being on it. But the Denver Broncos offensive line, it's pretty rock solid, man. And the Broncos are going to try to improve their running game this year, but they're not going to do that via in addition to the offensive line. They're going to do that. Gosh dang it. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Dadgummit. Hold on. Trying to figure out why my webcam wasn't coming up there, but oh well, I won't bother you guys on this. I guess we'll just throw me nice and small over there. Let me exit out of this, exit out of that, and we're back rolling. Okay. Apologize about that. All right, Garrett Bowles at number 85. Denver Broncos. God, I'm sweating my booty off. Let's see how low we got to go to get our next one. T. Higgins at 80. Jalen Carter, James Cook, Mark Andrews, Brandon Jones, Lad McConkey, Tyler Lindenham. Boy, all right, we're getting down there. Can we break the top 50? 57. I think we're going to break the top 50. Okay. Let's roll, man. 45. Patrick Mahomes at 39. What the blank? All right, number 37, we got Quinn Miners, next Bronco on the list. I assume that would be the case. They've got Quinn Miners' steady progression as an interior blocker, continues to elevate his profile across the league after a career year in 2024. It won't be long before he becomes a household name, at least in names that appreciate offensive line play. The 26-year-old guard made significant strides in pass protection, earning career best 81.4. His 99 pass blocking efficiency rating tied for the second highest among all qualifying linemen this past season. Listen, if you enjoy offensive line play, put on some Quinn Miners film and watch him in the running game. Because in my opinion, Quinn Miners is the best run blocking guard in the NFL. The dude is a phone booth guy. You get a guy in his phone booth, and that dude is going north and south. And he's going to take him on a ride for at least 5 or 6 yards. Good to see Quinn Miners graded so highly. Also, a recently highly paid man, a very, very rich man because he's very good at football. All right, let's see. Rolling on for the next one. We're gonna Zach Allen and Patrick. What? How high could we go? Patrick, I'm sorry, Pat Surtain. Pat Surtain at number 12. He was the defensive player of the year. I'm not getting even to read that because Pat Surtain doesn't need any intro here. We all know what Pat Surtain is. To be at number 12, playing the position of corner, that's an awfully high honor for Pat Surtain. That might feel a little bit low considering the fact that he just got defensive player of the year. But he does play a position, nowadays, like the priority of the most important positions on a football team. It used to be quarterback was number 1, left tackle 2, edge rusher 3, corner 4. Nowadays, wide receivers have surpassed corners in priority in terms of GMs and how much they're getting paid. So corner, at best is probably the 5th most important position on a football team according to GMs these days, and Pat Surtain got number 12. I'm not sure if I missed Zach Allen on this list at some point. I probably did. I'm sure he's on that list. I'm not going to go back to try to figure it out. But if Zach Allen's not on that list, that is an outright travesty. Okay, a couple other things that I want to get to here with you guys. All right, just one more thing I want to get to with you guys here tonight before I sign off. I know it's another quick hitter with you guys, but I'll let you guys get to the rest of your evening. There was some news with the Denver Broncos today that was not awesome. We had a Denver Broncos coach arrested on Sunday, and it's linebackers coach Michael Wilhoit. When I first saw this news, people make assumptions, including myself, right? And we all know what assumptions do. They make an ass out of you and me, but when I first saw this news, I saw that he was arrested for second-degree assault on a police officer. I honestly assumed probably a late night downtown Denver, a dude that probably drank too much and made some mistake, right? Well, no, that is not the case. Had nothing to do with alcohol. Had nothing to do with the late night. Michael Wilhoit was at Denver National Airport, and he pulled up to the curbside to drop off somebody, maybe his family, maybe he had a wife and some kids, I don't know. But he got out of his car, right? And he exited his vehicle to go do whatever he was going to do, whether he was picking somebody up or whether he was dropping somebody off. And a police officer approached him and said, hey, you can't abandon your vehicle, or you can't park there. And allegedly, according to the police officer, Michael Wilhoit said shut the F up, and he went in and he did whatever he needed to do inside the airport. When Michael returned to his car, the police officer alleges that again, he told him that you can't park there. And again, Michael said shut the F up. At this point, according to the police officer, he says that Michael approached the police officer and chest bumped him. At which point, the officer responded by shoving Wilhoit back in the chest, and I guess at that point, according to the police officer again, Michael Wilhoit responded to that shove to the chest by punching the police officer in the face. And now the police officer is saying that he had visible bruises and cuts on his knees and his face from the punch. Here's my take on this. If you take it at surface level, this is a very bad deal. We all know at airports there are a lot of cameras, right? So number one, I believe the police officers in Denver are supposed to have their body cams on, so there's probably going to be body cam video of this. Number two, you're at an airport. There's going to be a million different cameras. There's some of the most secure places in America, and there should be at least 2 or 3 different angles of this video. I would expect the video probably will come out at some point, and we'll find out the truth of what really happened. If it does go down, as the police officer says, I'd be surprised if Michael Wilhoit had a job with the Denver Broncos much longer. You cannot punch an officer in the face, certainly unprovoked. But I do know this. I've learned enough to wait before I make an opinion. You never know what really happened. It sure seems like it would take a lot to deck a police officer in the face. I'm sure Michael felt like he was wronged at some point. I'm not excusing it. I don't know what really happened. All I'm saying, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to wait to see the video, hear what really happened. It just seems like a crazy deal on a relatively routine part of your day. And unfortunately for Michael, if it goes down as the police officer says, it's probably the end of his career with the Denver Broncos, maybe even the end of his career coaching in the NFL. So the Broncos have had a lot of turnover in their coaching ranks. Coaches getting promotions, becoming offensive coordinators, getting better jobs with the Lions, with the Saints. We've had people inside the scouting department, Darren Bougie, get an opportunity to go be a GM over there with the Raiders. So we've seen a lot of moving parts here within the Denver Broncos facility. And Sean Payton's been a little bit slow to hire replacements. Although keep in mind, a lot of these new hirings, they go down at the combine, so I wouldn't be shocked at all to hear within the next week or two if the Broncos started making some moves for those replacements. But keep an eye on linebacker coach Michael Wilhoit, and let's just see what happens with his future and if the Broncos are looking for a new linebacker coach. Okay, that's all I've got for you guys today. Again, thank you to my sponsor Safeway and to Sin Barbershop. I couldn't do this without you guys. I'm really grateful, and I would ask pretty please, if you enjoy what I do, please head on over to YouTube, hit like, make a comment on this video. It does wonders for the algorithm. Just a few comments does a lot of things, and I'm really trying to grow my channel over there on YouTube, where I put out content that lives exclusively over there. So if you've not subscribed, please hit the link in my bio on Twitter. It'll take you a total of 35 seconds. You'll be done. You'll support me, and you'll get